on here, record on the cloud. Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello.
Hello, Jan.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hi,
Look at all
John.
these happy people. Let's go on
Hello,
stage.
John. Hello, John.
Hey, I see everybody. In fact, I see some of my brand new friends that just joined us today. So welcome to all
Wow.
of you.
Hello.
Many of you from England. There's BB from England. Hey, baby.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hello.
And of
Welcome.
course,
Hey, BB.
Annie, good to see you, Annie. There she is. I want to mention everyone's name, but it would take an hour. We're already at capacity. Oh my goodness, we're already at capacity of this room. I'm going to go ahead and mute the mics so we can hear ourselves think. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you know who I am. I'm John Lavenia. I am the, what is my title again? Director of Success. And this is going exactly with what Mark was talking about in terms of starting, with, basic, like he was mentioning, and for those of you who weren't in this conversation, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but he was mentioning starting with the basics and being, of service in lower ranks, and then, gaining some pretty lofty ranks in his work, in this case, in military work. So I don't so much look at titles, I look at results. And I think you can all appreciate that. We were just hearing from, was it Heather, or I'm sorry now because we got so many people on here. I don't remember who was saying it, but you were talking about how you appreciate the solidity and the definiteness of the coaching that you're getting here in the Blue Sky community. Heather, yes, that was Heather saying that. Thank you, Heather. And so that's valid, right? Because there's a lot of, I have found that there's a lot of charlatans, in the online marketing space. And we're going to be talking today, not about that, but we're going to be talking about you as it relates to the online marketing space and what you can do to have bigger, stronger, faster results, which I think is a topic everyone's going to be interested in. Of course, if you're joining us new here and we are at capacity, then you're probably seeing this on YouTube Live. Be sure to subscribe to that channel and click the bell notification so you know when we go live in the event that the room is full, which it is right now at this moment. But I wanted to talk with everyone today briefly and then open it up for discussion about the idea of thinking big and playing big. I mean, we're all here to do something which, the intent is to, have some increase in our life, increase in terms of our financial ability, time freedom, location freedom. These are things that are attractive to humans, right? We like to do that stuff. We like to have freedom and control in our lives and a bit of self-determinism and options. Yes, options. And yet, this is the interesting thing that I find. And in fact, I just had this conversation with a couple of fine people regarding their goals, regarding what would be proper or realistic or reasonable when it comes to setting goals and targets and why we're doing this in the first place. And I'm here to offer you something that I've discovered from my own experience coming up through the ranks in business and entrepreneurship. What I've noticed is that it's actually easier to make, I'm going to go ahead and throw out some numbers, to make $50,000 a month than it is to make 5. If you've got a reason for the 50. If you've got a reason for the 50. And that's a known reason. And there's nothing vague about that. And you're not equivocating with what you want because you do want it and you have a reason to want it. It is relevant to you. And therefore, you've got full license to play big. Because you're going to do the work anyway. Here's sort of the punchline to the whole thing, is that it's the same work. And people often think, well, hold on a second, John. Up to this point, my income has been linear. To the degree that I work, to the degree that I labor, I am remunerated a certain amount of money, trading time for money, hours for dollars, right? Or pounds or whatever currency you're in, right? Well, that's linear thinking and that's linear income. But when we read books like Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, which is one of the ones I recommended, which you all bought, okay? You all bought it, right? So you get that book, get it on Kindle, get the audio book, do whatever you got to do, okay? But in that book, he talks about a paradigm shift, or in this case, a quadrant shift from the linear income type thinking process to the leveraged income thinking, or the passive income methods and thinking that goes in around that, right? So when we think about the four different quadrants, there's the employee, there's the self-employed, there's the business owner, there's the investor. Those are the four quadrants, right? ESBI, employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. Obviously, the employee has the least amount of leverage. They also tend to rely on linear income, and they tend to think small. Because after all, you don't get paid what you're worth at a job. You get paid what the job is worth. And I know there are a lot of people working their jobs. Like the last job I ever worked was 70, 80 hours a week, making about 100 grand a year, 100,000 a year. That's it. That's all that job was worth. I don't care if I showed up 100 hours a week. That's all that job was worth. In fact, they cut my pay 3 times a year just to make sure that I was getting paid the right amount for that job, despite how motivated I was. That's linear income. Even if I created leverage, which I did in that job situation, which is why my income kept going up and why they kept promoting me, right? Here's your new title, right? Your rank has increased, your pay scale has decreased. That's an interesting game to play. But even though I was motivated, even though I was looking to do and have more in my life, there was no way for me to do it in that vehicle. That's the consideration. What vehicle are we using to get our goals done, right? So then, of course, there's the self-employed quadrant. Okay, a bit more self-determinism, a bit more control, less leverage. Or yes, very little leverage. Maybe a little bit more than the employee, but still very little. It's still quite. Somebody's calling me right now while we're on our live broadcast. I don't know why they're doing that. Somebody in our group, in fact, they should be on the broadcast, not calling me right now. But there's there's a bit more, you've got a bit more reach, a bit more control, but not a whole lot of leverage. When we get into the B quadrant, right, which is something we could do, okay, you could still think like a self-employed person, or you could start thinking like a business owner. What part of this can I now delegate and produce more value in the marketplace in less time without me physically being there? That's a good question. Look at Sophie, perfect example. Sophie's listed over 1,000 products, right? She's not there managing every single product every minute of the day, right? So she's got leverage via Amazon, which you guys are also learning how to get. She's also got leverage with a staff. Blue Sky is a multi-million-dollar enterprise. I mean, this is not, Sophie in her kitchen and, some guy, John in Phoenix, who's just talking and stuff. No, there's like a mega staff behind the scenes. We just heard before we went live on this call from Mark, who was talking about how he got a little, extra attention, a little extra love from one of the staff members here, right? Who went above and beyond because Mark, quite obviously, right? Because he shows up, is quite interested. This is real for Mark. By the way, it's not real for everybody. No, this is some, online experiment. Maybe we'll try something. It's like a hobby for some people. Okay. So what's the difference there? The difference is the mindset and the intent. It's the same work, but a different intent or a different level of intensity. All right. And then the I quadrant, the investor, now that's passive income. So we've got linear income. We've got more control of our linear, a little bit of leveraged income. We've got leveraged income and a lot more control and responsibility. And then we've got passive income where we're saying, you guys are responsible. You guys are competent. Let me bet on you, right? So those are the 4 different quadrants. And it's a bit of a paradigm shift for people, especially if they've been indoctrinated, like I was, into linear income type thinking. That thinking causes people like myself to think, well, this much work equals this much money. I'm going to have to do this much more work to make this much more money. Hi, Mary Beth. Good to see you. And so that's very limiting, isn't it? Oh, it is, right? So what can we do to break out of that? Well, you've already done part of it. And that is that you've gone in a new direction. I'm talking to our brand new members here who just got started. Okay. So you've gone in a new direction. You've deliberately chosen to jump vehicles. Well done. That's scary for a lot of people, right? Here's what I know. Here's my cheese, right? Here's the cheese pile over here. And yeah, it sucks, but it's comfortable. It's familiar. I know what to do to get that cheese. Now, some of you have been supplanted because whether you like it or not, change is upon us, right? Temporary change, which could be the catalyst for more permanent change. I was just talking to one of our brand new members over there in France. Actually, she's in England right now, but she also does business in France. I said France, and then I had to correct myself. It's France. But the but the idea that the real estate market has doing what it's doing right now. Okay, well, there's an opportunity to do something else. Okay, and not to just temporarily supplement, because this isn't a short-term game. Okay, this isn't like I'm going to go get a side job for 3 months. No, but to permanently replace or exceed that which was sustaining one's lifestyle up to that point. Am I making a point, everybody? We're actually creating a permanent solution in some cases to a temporary problem. If we're talking about, COVID-19 and all this, this too shall pass. Guaranteed, it will, right? So now what? Are we going to go back to the old cheese pile? You know what? We play our cards right now. You never have to go back. And I think that's a very pleasing idea for a lot of people. But it's not going to happen if we're just thinking, you know what, this 100,000 a year or 50,000 a year or 200,000 a year or whatever it is that your best thinking got you to up to this point, like that's somehow a limit or something. That is not a limit. We could say that's a standard, and we can raise our standards, can we not? I mean, my goodness, if we're going down this new path and we're going to take all this time and effort to learn this new stuff, well, to what end? Well, I don't know, whatever you say, right? So is it just the 5,000, the 10,000 a month, whatever it is? Is that the target? And why would that be the target? Because that was your target yesterday? What the hell does yesterday have to do with it? Who are you? What do you want? It's a profound question, right? Sometimes in sessions, consultations and counseling with people, I offer them that question. What do you want? And it's like deer in headlights. It's like, okay, well, let's dig into that. I mean, it's a simple question, but so often we've been conditioned to not going after what we want. We've been conditioned to going after what we think we could accomplish based on yesterday's performance and expectations, which are outworn, and we're just dragging yesterday into today, hoping to create a better tomorrow. But it's all very linear. You see, it's all very linear. Again, I'll ask you to put your attention on Sophie. Her results are exponentially better, not incrementally better, exponentially better than they were before she started doing all this Amazon stuff. Now, that didn't happen overnight. Okay, that didn't happen overnight, but she raised her standards. She learned what she had to learn. You can leverage that experience. In fact, that's the reason you're here, is to leverage her experience, right? Not pioneering this yourself. So you can leverage that experience. Okay, but when we look at how she actually got there, how she actually got to making millions of dollars online, it was because she raised her standards to the point where these outworn methods are no longer valid. I already know that. And I suppose I could go back to that if I really wanted to, or if I had to. But now the sun is shining. Let's make hay, right? The iron is hot. Let's strike. And strike to what end? To millions of dollars. How many products did Sophie list in her first year? Like 140, something like that. And yet some of us, and I'm not pointing any fingers, some of us have been hanging around blue sky for months. And yes, FBA is on hold. That's a circumstantial, temporary thing, okay? But this whole getting ready to get ready thing, maybe it's time to raise our standards. Maybe it's instead of seeing, the Holy Grail as being, I listed my first product, right? Maybe our standards now are, I'm going to list the first 10. We're going to feed the winners, kill the losers. And that's the first 10. And then we're going to do it again in next month. Maybe we raise our standards. I mean, if you've got a reason to, right? My point for all this, my point in saying all this is you're not here to play small unless you say you are, right? We're going to play to win. We're not here to play to not lose. We play to win, or why bother? Those are my thoughts on it. And I know that may seem a bit abstract, okay, because it is. It's a concept which I've applied into my own life, into my own entrepreneurial experience, which by the way, I'm not an Amazon expert. No, I'm not. You guys know I've been studying personal growth philosophy and success psychology for 35 years. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a business coach. I run multiple businesses. I am one of the busiest guys in the world, and I give my time here in this group, right? Because I see, and I was invited to do so actually by a guy named Bo. Some of you have met Bo. Bo and I go back 20 years. We made millions together. We've lost millions together. We know a lot of what's going on in the marketplace. And Bo said, you know what? You know what the one thing we're missing here? John Lavenia. John, look at this group. Look at these people. Look what's going on here. You're gonna love working with these people. I'm like, and I did my own due diligence and I said, all right, damn it, sign me up. And here we've been, right? And they gave me a title, Director of Success. Oh my goodness, that sounds important. Thank you for the title, Bo. I don't give a damn about the title. But I'm here for you. Yes, Amazon exists for anyone. But like I was just saying to you, baby, and some of the others that we just met, I'm interested in you. Because any bozo can show up here, but what are they going to do with the opportunity? Who's steering the ship, damn it? Somebody with some worthy goals, worthy of who? Worthy of themselves, worthy of their time. Because we're all going to spend it. Clock's ticking right now. What you going to do, right? Where are your standards? Not your limits. I'm not asking you to set limits. I'm asking you to set standards and be generous with yourself. Because if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And with that, I'm going to stop running my mouth and allow you to run your own. Come on out. If you want to come on out, feel free to if you want to share goals, right? I mean, that's good for accountability, making goals known, or, you know, your perspective on all this, thinking bigger, playing to win, damn it. Who wants to come on out?
Hey, John.
Hey.
This is Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Obviously selling on Amazon today is a lot different than it was 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have anything to share with us how Sophie has changed, what she did when she originally started selling on Amazon and how she does that today and how that process has changed for her?
Yes. And so, in fact, and that's a great question. She updates things as they come out, including and especially on the Friday, 9 a.m. Australia or New Zealand, Auckland time, 9 a.m. on Friday, 3 or 4 o'clock in the States, and whatever time it is in England, right? So that's what's working now. I know right now she's working on, and this is kind of light, okay? So this isn't, you know, the gospel according to Sophie, but right now she's working on intangibles, ebooks, right? I'm going to go ahead and mute a couple lines here. William, I'm going to go ahead and mute your line real quick. Okay, so she's working on you know, can we get you know, these info products going, like ebooks and stuff like that. So that's something we can do right now. In fact, that's more in my wheelhouse, right? I've been dealing with intangibles, books and courses and seminar type events for decades, right? So that's more my world. So that's something she's talking about now with students. Have you been in on any of those conversations, Becky?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. And that may or may not be a road that you want to go down, but it's another option, right? And it's one worth knowing about. As far as like physical product sales, which is typical of Amazon, a lot of that stuff just stands true. You know, it's just getting bigger, stronger, faster, and you'll find that the tools improve, like Helium 10,
Right.
which didn't exist at one point. You know, so things like that. And others go away. What is that? Merchant words. I think that's out of favor at this time. So in fact, if you had to pick one tool, that'd be Helium 10, and your second tool could be Jungle Scout. But merchant words, I think, are out of favor at this point. William, I had to mute yourself. Mute you. If you want to come out, please unmute. Mary Beth, you're on mute.
What was that?
Mary Beth, did you want to talk?
Oh.
I saw you were unmuted.
Well,
So
I will. You know what? I was waiting for the joke. So I do have a joke if you want, or should I say it later?
Oh, that's Fridays. All right, so we got rules here, everybody. We got rules.
I thought it was every day.
Tell your joke. Please tell your joke. But here's the rules. Every Friday, we must have one joke. Okay. The other rule is, well, the oldest rule here is if you can't be on time, be early. And the third rule is if a dog barks while your microphone is unmuted, you must present the dog. We have to see the dog, the dog experience. Okay. Go ahead, Mary Beth. Give us a joke.
Okay. So this guy's walking on the beach and, you know, he's just praying. And God says, you know what? You've been such a great guy and you've been so wonderful in your life. I'm going to grant you one wish. And he goes, oh, wow. So he says, well, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii and I don't like to fly. So God, could you like build me a bridge to Hawaii? And God says, come on, that's impossible. Think of the logistics on that. Come on, give me another wish, right? So the guy says, okay, well, I've been married 4 times and I don't know women. I don't know what they think. I don't know anything about them. I just need you to tell me, what about women? How are they? What are they thinking? And God is quiet for a little bit. And he says, you want 1 lane or 2 lanes without bridge? I guess I happen to like that one. Did you get it? No, forget it.
Thank you, Mary Beth. That's
Well,
great.
I thought it was cute.
I got it, Mary Beth.
I
I
got it.
Mary Beth.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So God bailed on the second wish and said, "I'll take the first one." Right. Yeah, that's
I'll take it for Jenny Day.
Because he doesn't know women either, I guess.
right. It's good stuff.
easier.
William, did you have a comment, William?
No, it's just that, we need to take this time that we are given to make it's an opportunity for us to expand that we can on ourselves and to use it so we can set the foundation for us to grow on. This is the perfect time to set your goals, but remember, goals are always changeable because we have to make it realistic. It has to be, physical. It has to be right now. If we're not, then we're not going to push ourselves to the next level. We'll just get to that one goal, made it, and sit back and think that that's it. But we have to keep moving that bar up to the next step.
Yeah, raising our standards. Beautiful. Thank you, William.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to come out today?
Hey, John, I just want to say thanks
Yes, sir, Jason.
for the stuff that you said this morning. I thought was good. Are we gonna make 50,000 or make 5,000? It's all the kind of the same game. I think when we had talked earlier about, you had mentioned my goals were, what did you say, subpar? I think.
No, I didn't invalidate your goals. I said I think they're conservative based on what I know
Conservative.
about
That's
you.
yes.
Right.
So those words I appreciate it
Mhm.
because this is all new, and I think I was going on I'm not sure. Let's make it somewhat realistic, but at the same time, it was cutting myself short.
Well,
So-
understand everybody and what Jason's talking about, because Jason and I have had a bit of one-on-one time, and so will I with you once you've been through your business launch strategy session. There's a difference between being unreasonable and irrational, and a lot of times people confuse the two, right? So the old saying, "Shoot for the stars and you hit the moon." That's good. That's valid, right? So think big, right? Play to win, all that. Silliness like I'm going to make $1 billion in my first 2 hours. All right, now that's not rational. Okay, so be of sound mind. At the same time, let's employ something other than just reason, which is one mental faculty, which is limited. It's based on what we already know. Well, what about the imagination? What about intuition? Right? These are not limited faculties, and they're faculties that most people don't exercise often enough. Me, I don't exercise them often enough, right? I'm terribly reasonable. Oh, I've never made progress by being reasonable, right? Unreasonable. Now we're talking. That requires the use of other higher faculties, right? And when I look at Jason, and I think when we all look at Jason, I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic there, Sarah. We got a little bit of background noise. When we look at Jason, I see a very able being, extremely able, right? So what can't this guy do? I don't know. Or whatever he says he can't do, I suppose. I see the future, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, not just you, Jason. I'm mentioning that to multiple
Everybody.
people. Yeah. Anyway, brother, we're going to see you at the top. I have no question about it in my mind.
There was this is Nick here in the UK. That we used to work in 25 years ago. I worked in Colorado, and as an American guy I got to know, and he came out with a fantastic quote. It wasn't his quote, and he said it takes as much time and effort to think small and as it does to think big. Do you know who said that? Donald Trump.
I was
And he's
gonna say
right.
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Absolutely spot on that one. He's spot on.
He wrote a book called Think Big and Kick Ass.
Yes, he did. Yes, very good.
Yeah. So and there's somebody who definitely will push the envelope and push himself, and his intent is to lift everybody up with that. But it's that sort of meritocracy type thinking. It's like, well, if we're going to do the work, well, let's do the best possible work, right? We're going to build a damn building. Well, let's build the tallest one.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you. Great reminder.
right.
Nick Cape,
John,
ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
John,
Across the
what you said today, it's easier to make 50K if you really want to than to make 5K. I've never seen it that way, and I do most of the time limit myself into thinking small, and that's not the way to do.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're going to learn something new, the question is, well, to what end? Why am I learning this? To make 5,000? Is that it? Well, no. I mean, if it's the same mechanisms, well, let's just make bigger machines. All right. So, yeah, Giannis, glad you're here, man. There's another guy, Giannis. We've had this conversation, right? How powerful is the potential of every being, right? When we shed that, that facade of limitation, which is hard to do. This is the hardest work in the world. I'm not here to tell you, oh, this is so easy. Oh, Jason's got it easy. No, Jason doesn't have it easy. I don't have it easy. None of us. No, this is thinking. It's hard. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Giannis. Glad you're here, brother. Anybody else today? Come on up.
One more thing on
Yes.
that line. Going through osteopathic school, and they, when you learn something new, it feels clunky. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing. It's frustrating. And to hear Sophie in some of the videos say, you have to do this 1,000 times over before it really starts to feel comfortable and you start to get it. And that's exactly what they told us when we were learning a technique. I was sitting there going, are you freaking kidding me? It's going to take that long to be able to learn this. But the more that I would do it, it's like you pick up a nuance, another piece, another piece, another piece. And then it's like, and you're like, you feel like you've just surpassed everything you've done before. And then you get to another little barrier and you have to kind of work past that. And then you zip up again to the next barrier. So it's quite interesting to see the correlations and what these, big, so to speak, professors or people that have been doing it for a long time say the exact same thing all the time. You just got to keep doing it over and over and over.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. And I know there are people here who have gained skills and aptitudes and competencies that allow them to go a lot faster than they did when they first engaged in whatever that endeavor was, right? So how many of you now, like right now you're on Zoom. This is a very simple example, okay? But right now, if you're tuning in live, you're on Zoom. How many of you are still trying to figure out where the button is to get the camera working? Where's the mute? I don't know. How do I hook up I can't hear anything. No, you don't even see Zoom anymore. You see me, right? So that's transparent, right? You're totally competent. You've mastered that, right? It used to take you 15 minutes to get on a damn call, right? Now it's like, done, right? Sarah's laughing. What do you think, Sarah?
It's still confusing.
I agree with you totally.
All
It
right,
reminded
thank
me of, it reminds me of myself when I was starting on Zoom.
Mhm.
I mean, it takes time for everything, it's like you say, the more we do it and when we get in and we get to going, I'm just worried about getting in and get to going. That's what I'm waiting for, is just to try to get in there. And, I wanted to be in by May, for what day is it? What's the big day in May that Amazon has? Isn't it May?
July, Prime Day.
Yeah, Prime Day. When is it in July?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I wanted to be in by then, but I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know. But that's just like anything, when my husband and I started a heating and air company, I was a cosmetologist and I had to quit that and help him. Well, I mean, it was like, man, I'm never going to learn this, and it took, took a long time, but then, you know, by the time I stopped doing that, I really had it down to par, you know, I mean, it's just, like you say, it takes practice in everything you do, and makes it worthwhile and makes it, you know, makes you feel happy about yourself, what you've done.
Let me ask you something, Sarah. If Prime Day was tomorrow, what could you do to participate?
Well, I'm not set up yet.
Right. So then that would be the first thing, is get set up, right?
Yeah.
So make your checklist. Like if Prime Day was tomorrow, or if you had to, or use other words here, if you had to launch 10 products tomorrow, what would you do? Right. So we think in
Yeah.
terms of fastest route from A to B. Okay. Some of these things will be urgencies. Some of these things will be not urgent, but quite important. Right. Kind of like the
Right.
Steve Covey stuff we were talking about. The point is that we don't wait. Okay. So you guys know my favorite 4-letter word is done.
Done.
My least favorite is wait.
Mhm.
I hate wait. Okay. So what can you do despite whatever the circumstances are, to get something done, to move closer to Prime Day, and there's your big hit, right? And,
Yes.
and that is actually therapeutic. I heard this story, and I don't know if it's accurate because I wasn't there. Okay, but it's Pearl Harbor, and the Japanese planes are bombing the harbor, right? And there were guys who had a lot of post-traumatic stress and troubles after the attack, right? But there were some guys that didn't. And what they found was that some of the captains of the ships and such, they said, all right, guys, grab the potatoes and throw the potatoes at the propellers of the planes as they're coming over, right? Now, is the potato going to, defeat the plane? No, but they're doing this of something. Something can be done. Okay. And now we shall throw the potatoes, right? And they felt like they had participated in doing what they could, and therefore less victimhood, more causation, right? Did it defeat the planes? No, but it helped the individual. And again, I wasn't there, so that's third-party data, okay? But it sounds plausible to me. It sounds good. Like, what can you do that you haven't done, that you could do, and that you will do now, right?
Okay. That's very encouraging. I appreciate that. That's very, I guess I'm going to get enrolled in Amazon then. That sounds like the best thing to do, doesn't it?
Well, let's do that then.
That's
right?
what I'll do.
Well, fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else today?
John,
Yes.
it's William.
William.
How are you? Here's the thing, we're talking about improving ourselves and changing our situations and trying to make things better. My wife has a cleaning business. One of her customers went to school with Donald Trump in the New York Military Institute. And I asked him, I said, because I used to work with her cleaning business. And I asked him, I said, so what was Trump like when you were growing up, when he was in his 20s? And he said, he's not what he's like today. He was quiet. He was a wallflower. He wouldn't talk to nobody. He just kept to himself. And you can see the byproduct of him changing his circumstances and where he has led his life and where he is now. Some people hate him, some people like him, some people don't trust him, whatever the case may be. But just looking at the life and how you can change it. That was very impressive.
That's good.
Yeah, it was Cary Grant who said, I just acted like Cary Grant for so long, I became him. Right? So who are you? Right? That's, I guess we get to choose. And usually it's whatever's comfortable, which is who I was yesterday. Right. So
But you got to change that.
Yeah. It's work, man. That's thinking. That's hard work. Pete's got his hand up. Pete, don't stand on ceremony, man. Just come out like you own the place. What's going on?
Hi, John. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi.
From London, well, Watford, in fact. No, the question is, obviously, we need to move. We don't need to, as you say, your favourite 4-letter word is done. And wait is not a good word, and probably that's something that probably we've all done. And a lot in our lives, is wait for things. Obviously, we haven't chosen a product yet. We've only been on the course now for like 3 weeks, so we're sort of newbies to all this. I spoke to my accountant yesterday by email, that is, and I asked her about setting up a limited company because I believe that we can't set up an Amazon account, seller account, that is, until we have a limited company in place and a business bank account. Is that correct, John?
Yes, you want to have an LTD, or in the States, an LLC. And it's even easier, I understand, it's even easier in the UK because you just go to companiesonline.com or something. What is that? Does
Yeah,
somebody know what that address is?
Company's House, I think it is.
Company's
Yeah.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And you pay like, 2 pence or something, and they say, here's your documents, and you're done. And the
Can be, yeah.
Right.
75 quid, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I may have been exaggerating with the 2 pence. Okay, but
Yeah, slightly.
Lovely. Yeah.
Would be nice.
Cheers. Thanks for that, John. Thanks, Nick.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Right on. There you go. Gail, you have a comment, Gail?
No, I just accidentally touched something and now
Oh, okay. You'll get it.
I'm trying to get back.
Okay, you're good. You're good. All right, Gail. Just
There
glad
we
you're here. I thought I saw the smoke coming out of your ears. You were thinking, I thought you were going to launch some profundity onto us here. No?
No,
Okay.
no.
Very good. Anybody else today?
Hey, John,
Yes.
I've been reading this book, Power of Consistency,
Mm.
and there's so many new things in this program. It'll make us bounce all over the place. So it's very important that we stay consistent. And once you find something that works, just keep at it. Don't give it up. Just keep going. So you go from 5,000 a month to 50,000 a month. It takes the same amount of effort if you're consistent.
That's right. Very good, John. And there's another guy right there. There's John Hyder. He's got all the potential in the world to do this, right? Be the future of this, John, and do it with intent. So glad you're here, my friend.
John, would you call me every 15 minutes and repeat that for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what you do? This is on YouTube now, so you can just take out that one video clip and just play it over and over and over. Yeah. You'll learn video editing in the process. It's great.
So
right.
can I just jump in? John Hyder, thanks for that.
Hey,
because-
baby.
Hello, Phoebe from London. Because I've started my breathing. I've been doing my Miracle Morning, and I'm breathing in consistency and breathing out consistency. So that was just such confirmation from you, John Hyder, about the consistency. So thank you for that. Because I'm going to purchase that book. That's wonderful.
welcome.
Good times. All right. So baby's brand new here. We just met moments ago. So good stuff. Anybody else today before we wrap up and get on with our day? Last call. Okay, my friends, we'll go ahead and wrap up with that. Thank you for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow, of course, same bat time. And be sure to tune into the Facebook, or not Facebook, the YouTube channel as well. So you make sure you get the recordings and stuff. We'll see you guys later.
Be
Thank
consistent.
you, John.
All right, we'll be consistent. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye.